Hello everyone, 171 people are here. So it seems like there's another 50 people are coming based on Demio. So let's give everyone a bit of time. You will see that the chat is open for private, which means you can write to us when you have questions. Drop some hello in the chat, where you're from, what you do. This is the first webinar of the year. So we're quite excited. I'm here with Maximilian. He's working for Google, if I'm not mistaken, 6 years?
6.5 years, yeah.
6.5 years, okay. Super quite excited to be with him because Google is one of our best partners as AdUnit and AdCreative.ai. So I think it's also very cool to start the year with them. So quite a bit of people are writing. Maximilian, you don't see them, right?
I do see all.
You do? Okay, super. Awesome. We have a lot of US, London, Indonesia, Miami, quite a bit of people there from India as well. Super cool. Okay, so let's give other people a bit of time. And while we give other people a bit of time, we have a couple of questions. If you haven't answered them, go ahead and answer those polls questions. That's going to help us a lot. The first one is, are you already advertising on Google or not? The second is, have you ever created Google Performance Max campaigns? If you feel like to find what is Google Performance Max campaign, don't worry. That is the webinar that we are going to tell you pretty much everything about it, including how to create the visuals and the campaigns itself. And then the next question is, are you already an AdCreative.ai user? That's going to make us understand like if we should talk more about it or less and so on. And the same for AdUnit. So quite a bit of people are answering. I think you do not see the answers as the listeners today, but we have around 38% of our, 39% of our audience already is advertising on Google. So 60% do not. That's a very good opportunity to introduce you to Google Ads best practices. Okay, the numbers fluctuate quite a bit because more and more people are answering them, but around 40% is a AdCreative.ai user, and another 40% is an AdUnit user. So that's super cool. We're going to be talking about all of them. So don't worry if what is AdCreative.ai, what is Performance Max, what is AdUnit, no worries at all. It's just that we just passed 200 people. Let's give them one more minute, and then we're going to directly start the session. It's going to be very on point. At first, we're going to talk a bit to make you understand the theoretical part, and then we're going to get into the practical part of how to create them, what are the best practices, and so on, by screen sharing. So you're going to also see how to directly in first person. Okay, I think we're good. So let me directly start the material. So you're going to see that there is a small presentation. So one slide is missing. That is my slide at first. So let me talk about me very fast, and then I'm going to give Maxi the rest. So basically, I'm a CEO and the co-founder of AdUnit and AdCreative.ai. AdUnit is a tool that allows you to create campaigns, which in this case is going to be a Performance Max campaign, and AdCreative.ai allows you to generate creatives using AI for this type of campaign. So today, after Maxi, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be creating the Performance Max campaign using AdUnit. Then we're going to jump to AdCreative.ai to generate the creatives unit for your campaigns. And at the end, we're going to be doing some Q&A. If you have never been in any of our webinars are very on point. We try to be as practical as possible. So we don't want to give you too much theoretical information. We want to give you theoretical information to make you understand if it's a good solution for you or not. And if you're not sure at the end, you can ask. And as promised, at the end of this webinar, I'm going to screen share and show you how you can claim $500 Google Ads credits for you as well. So Maxi, that's just about me. I kind of talked to you about the fact that you're a channel partner at Google and you mentioned 6.5 years, but maybe you can just talk about yourself to the audience, and then we can directly dive into the Performance Max campaigns.
Sure. I'm Maxi. Hi, I'm dialing in from Hamburg, Germany, from our lovely Google office. I'm working at Google for 6.5 years, as Tufan mentioned, as a partner success manager. That means I'm working closely with AdCreative.ai and AdUnit on pretty much bringing the best Google solutions to their platforms. So basically everybody can use and access Google solutions through the platform, AdCreative.ai and AdUnit. So basically that's a bit about my role, the role I'm playing in that collaboration, so to speak. And I've been invited to talk a bit about Performance Max campaigns to you today, which is basically our newest campaign type. we launched like 2-3 years ago and are constantly developing further to make it easier for you to basically advertise across the entire Google inventory. And that's basically what I'm gonna do as an intro. I talk a bit about Performance Max, how it's working, how it's pretty much set up, and then Tufan is gonna step in and explain us a bit more about how to use AdCreative.ai and Ad you need to basically have it all run a bit smoother and set it up all a bit smoother and a bit easier for you guys.
That's
cool.
it.
So if you want, I can jump straight in, or do you have anything to add, Tufan?
No, all good. Let's go. Quite excited.
So,
I think you can change slides, right? Okay.
I can do it. I can, yeah.
All good.
So just checked if I can screen share as well, but that's all right. So cool. Yeah, as I mentioned, just to quickly jump in, why should we bother about using Performance Max campaigns? What are Performance Max campaigns in general? Basically, Performance Max campaigns, as I teased already, new campaign type we launched about 2 years ago, I believe. Basically, it should account for one of the key challenges in digital marketing these days, which is basically the constant evolvement and the constant growth in complexity of user journeys. Basically, what we see today is new ways to discover, research, purchase digital goods or physical goods in a digital world. And this is basically like growing and growing and growing. So we see people having more and more touch points when they purchase something online. We see people having way more complex user journeys when they develop online or when they purchase something online. And basically, it's hard for marketers to kind of keep up with that. In general, if you want to like basically cover the entire customer journey for a purchase, you would need to account for hundreds, thousands of potential use cases. So you can basically target every customer you want at every stage of their conversion funnel. So this is kind of the challenge right now. How can you keep up with that? Let's say that trend and that evolvement without having to compromise on quality of your ads, of your digital marketing, digital advertising, and by automating things. So just to go a bit deeper here and to back this up a bit, if we look at data from pre-COVID times compared to the times during COVID, post-COVID, post-pandemic, we basically see users buying more online, consuming more online goods, basically purchasing more goods online, increasing number of users basically turning to do the purchases online. And what we see, a lot of customers are basically switching to a, let's say, digital only world. They're basically purchasing almost all of their stuff online, and that's kind of where a lot of customers and where a lot of trends are going right now. The increased, let's say, increased interest and increased basically interest, as I mentioned, in purchasing goods online. And if we kind of consider that these customer journeys get more and more complex, we kind of see a lot of touch points across different channels and across different digital phases in that customer journey or in that purchase journey. If you like think about when you purchased something the last time and how many, let's say, digital touch points did you have. So for me, for example, I recently moved. I'm buying furniture right now. So when I buy something, it usually starts with, I don't know, probably researching what do I actually want to have in that certain room. And then I kind of research prices. And then I start to watch review videos or something like that, or I kind of compare different furniture to each other. And then again, I check prices, and then I make a purchase at some point. But it probably takes me 100, 200, 300 touch points to actually make a purchase. And now, as a digital marketer, it's kind of difficult to be present at all these different touch points, right? Whether you can basically be present at every touch point, but it gets very, very expensive and it gets very complex. Or you can just be present at a few touch points, but then you might miss out on a lot of customers. So it kind of is tricky to find the right balance between covering every touch point and covering the right touch points. And this is basically where Performance Max comes in, or basically where this new campaign type comes in. We try to use the power of automation to actually find out which touch points are relevant, which touch points should actually be covered, and then try to enable us to basically be there when our customers need us. So that's basically the entire idea behind Performance Max campaigns. As I mentioned, basically a neat way to use Google's automation solutions to save us time, to basically get goal-driven insights that are valuable for our business without having to worry too much about manual adjustments and covering too much of the customer journey. So to just give you like a short overview of how or what the campaign actually does and what the campaign's features are, and I don't want to like go too much into detail here because as I read from the chat, there are different people with different backgrounds and basically different knowledge about Google products or even Performance Max campaigns already. So I don't want to go into that into too much detail, but we can easily follow up with individual questions later. So basically what the campaign tries to do, it tries to find the most highest number of converting customers for your goals. So what you basically do, you give the campaigns a goal. That can be more sales. That can be you want to create more leads. You want to create more visits for a physical business, for example. And the campaign tries to get the most converting customers for that goal. The campaign basically does that by using your budget in the most effective way. So basically using automation here to use your budget and basically distribute it in the most effective way. So we try to bid on customers the automation process actually think are valuable for your purchase and are valuable for your for the ultimate conversion goal. We try to distribute budgets by channels. So basically, whenever the algorithm, whenever the automation system thinks a customer is more valuable than another customer, it tries to bid on it. So basically, that way, it tries to create the most possible efficiency out of the automation solution. It also tries or aims to give you actionable insights. So in the past, if you use Google Ads in the past, you might have found like a lot of data that might be very confusing, very time-consuming to analyze at times, especially if you want to connect data between channels, let's say channel search campaigns, display campaigns. How does different data interact with each other? It was like kind of difficult at times. And now with Performance Max, we try to aim to make this easier, to enable you to access reports that actually cover the entirety of the customer journey, the entirety of all the channels. So you can basically see how much impact did that campaign or did that solution drive for your business at a very, very easy, in a very, very easy way. Next up, basically, we try to use, or as I mentioned, we try to use the best of Google Ads automation. So basically what we try to do, or what the algorithm tries to do, it uses the full visibility of Google's data, of Google's auction data. That means it accesses a large amount of data that can only be accessed by automation solutions because it's so large, and try to use that data in order to create actionable insights. It tries to bid, as I mentioned, across all channels. So basically, whenever the algorithm thinks there is a customer that's very valuable for us, it tries to place a bid there. So you really have like an effective way of bidding. And then the most important part, it basically tries to also automate your creative assets. So basically what it tries to do, it tries to see which asset is the most or the highest performing asset at which stage of the conversion funnel. And then it tries to work around these assets. And last but not least, as I mentioned, it gives you like the most out of Google's data-driven attribution solutions. So basically what you can do is access all the different channels or see data across different channels and how these channels interact with each other in order to give you way more insights how your campaigns performed in the end. So that just as like a short intro about how PMax campaigns are generally set up, why you should bother using them, and how do they work in the end. So basically, as I mentioned, it's a goals-based campaign. When you set up a PMax campaign or a Performance Max campaign, you need to select a goal that's basically tied to your business. So if you want to create online sales, you will basically select, I want to maximize my online sales. If you want to create leads, you can basically select, I want to get more phone calls, and I want to, get more lead submission forms, for example. That's basically the core foundation of the campaign. You you want to achieve goal X, Y, Z, and the campaign tries to optimize for that goal. It kind of differs a bit between traditional campaigns that you might have been using previously, because with PMax campaigns right now, you just have like one single campaign that's goal focused. In the past, you basically had like 3, 4, 5 campaigns, let's say a search campaign, a display campaign, maybe even a video campaign, that all kind of had the same goal. They all kind of wanted to get that sale in the end, right? But you had different campaigns that led to that one goal. Now you have like one single campaign that is basically focused around one goal, and is basically your entire source of truth in that sense. With that comes path to purchase awareness, which basically gives you like a new way of thinking, or gives the campaign a new way of thinking about conversions. It basically tries to check each part of the conversion process and each part of the conversion funnel, and bid differently across the funnels. So basically the right ad can be served at the right time when the user actually needs it. And last but not least, as I mentioned a couple of times now, we basically can assess the entire Google inventory across different channels. That means we can access search, display, but also YouTube, discovery, Google Maps inventory, and so forth. So basically all that inventory is covered by one single campaign, which gives you the opportunity to easily set this up and then scale as you need it. So basically that's about the differences and how this campaign generally works. And now we come to like the, let's say, bit more shiny, a bit more fancy part. So basically in the past, when we set up a campaign, it was all about like setting bids, setting budgets, optimizing for keywords, optimizing our text assets and so forth a bit. And now with PMax campaigns or Performance Max campaigns, we kind of switch this a bit to using the best data we can use. So feeding the campaign with a lot of data. And then the second most important thing here is basically using the best creatives we can use. So basically the success of a Performance Max campaign lives with its creatives. So basically what we need here is to feed the Performance Max campaigns with the best creatives we can. We can basically do that by adding a lot of creatives that kind of cover the entire inventory of Google. The more creatives we add that cover more inventory, the more popular spaces the campaign can access, and the more opportunity campaign has to scale, basically. That's the very first part. So adding lots of great assets that kind of feed the inventory is the very first part to be successful with it, or very core piece to be successful with a Performance Max campaign. Then obviously what is hugely important is to optimize our assets for performance and for success. That means what we want to do, we basically want to look at our assets, how good are they performing against our goals, and then make adjustments, create new assets, add new assets where needed, exchange assets where we need, and try to test over and over again. And last but not least, with these insights, we can basically create an entire new content strategy. We basically can see which assets are performing well for us, and based on that, we can set up a new content strategy and dive deeper, maybe create new assets of the same type in the same way, and then test again. So basically it's all about the assets we feed into the campaign that can basically be distributed about the entire Google inventory to set us up for success with Performance Max campaigns. So this sounds like a lot, and this sounds like a complex topic to talk about, and it probably is. But to make things easier, we basically have a great tool to hand with AdCreative.ai and As You Need, which Tufan will now explain us a bit more about how to basically use these tools in order to set up Performance Max campaigns and be successful with them. So things get a bit more actionable and things get a bit more shiny, I would say.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Maxi. That's super cool. There's just one thing, because I also, while you were talking your point, I was checking the chat. There's some questions about like, hey, do you also do retargeting on Performance Max, etc. There's just one thing that I want to say. So Maxi kind of like told pretty much everything on the Google's end, and like kind of, I'm an end user. I've been using Performance Max probably since the first day or something that they went out. And I'm just going to jump to Maxi's slides. And I love this slide so much because, like Maxi said, usually when somebody's making a buying decision, they don't necessarily go ahead to the website and buy it. Yes, there is some people that just goes and in one click buys it, but majority of people, they're going to go check the product, then jump on another website, read the reviews, and then come back to social media to check their, I don't know, whatever page they have, go to YouTube to see if they have any kind of, let's say, video reviews or user-generated content about that product. So the buyer journey, since the information is so easy to reach, the buyer journey is kind of getting a bit more complex. And since the buyer journey is a bit complex, like setting up campaigns for each part of the buyer journey is getting kind of an old school. That's why like I really love Performance Max, because in the past, because we also worked as freelancer agencies, etc., to help our clients to get better results, what you had to do is like you create one top funnel campaign and then retargeting on YouTube and something like a consideration on Google display. So many campaigns are becoming at the end 10 to 20 active campaigns at once. And what basically Performance Max kind of turns all this thing in one package. And on top of that, Google is telling you something else that I really love this, and Maxi mentioned it in the slides, is that like Google has much more information about a user journey than what they can provide on the UI, right? Because they have a lot of data points. So they know about the user journey, their behavior, where they are in the user journey. So the more we go to the automation, to the machine learning, to the AIs, the better results actually Google can give to us. So on my end, since I'm not working for Google, basically Google's and yours goals are kind of aligned. I can easily say that, because like in a very transparent perspective, the better results you get, the more you're going to continue advertising on Google. So it's good for them too. So ideally, when Google brings a technology like this to give you the best results, they really want to give you the best results. And that's why I'm super into this kind of new ad types, because no matter business you do, like you can actually automate pretty much the whole thing. So you can really focus on your business, and instead of just like focusing half of your time here and half of your time on business, right? So that's why I love Performance Max. That's why I'm going to be quite excited to talk about how we can create them in a matter of seconds, because the creation is super important as well, especially if you have some kind of different marketing campaigns. So you may have several Performance Max campaigns for different markets, etc. And on top of that, like Maxi mentioned, the creatives are extremely important. Not only the attractiveness of the creatives, but also, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere here, but also the fact that the more creative types you have on different placements, you can actually have a place. So for example, if you do not have any videos, potentially maybe you're not going to be as strong on YouTube. Like Performance Max is going to create you some automated videos, but ideally the more different type of content you have, the more channels you're going to get, and ideally the better results you're going to get. So let's directly go ahead. The very first one that I'm going to be talking is to how to create. By the way, I see your messages, we see them, I mean, and at the end of the presentation, not only we're going to provide you this in PDF format, we're going to answer your questions. And yes, we are completely live. So this is not a on-demand video kind of thing. So we are here. And at the end, whatever questions you have, we will try to answer them all. There is 260 people right now listening, so we may not be able to address them all, but we are going to also send you ideally video, this in a video format. So you can watch it later on as well. But ideally, if you stay till the end, you're going to be one of the first ones to see how you can claim $500 Google Ads credits. So let's go with that you need. So now that we kind of know the theories of Google Performance Max campaigns, why Google created this campaign type to kind of like give you time and also automate and make the most of, well, upcoming AI, right? The next step is how to create it. So let's directly jump in. So what I'm going to do is I am going to directly, let's try something. Maxi, tell me if that's going to work. Okay, it stops the thing. Okay, sounds good. Awesome, you can see my screen, super cool. So basically, I'm just going to show the website very fast, and then we're going to go to the application. Just for you to know, AdUnit is in beta right now, which means it's completely free. Don't worry about the pricing. If you go and sign up, there is no credit card requested. You can sign up, create campaigns, check your results, and you can see that every single day, more and more features are coming. We are bringing the second version of AdUnit. So if you were a user of the first version, you're going to see that the UI is improved and many more, the tech as well. Like there's a lot of stuff that you don't see. But anyway, AdUnit is basically a platform that allows you to generate, allows you to create conversion-focused ad campaigns, right? So basically, we call it the smartest way to create the ad you need. And as I mentioned, it's free. So if you're not a user yet, and I know 60% of you is not, you can go ahead and sign up. No strings attached. You can cancel anytime, delete your account anytime. I'm going to directly jump to the tool. So the tool that you're seeing right now is very simple. You have your dashboard. On your dashboard, you can see your results regardless which platform that you connected. So AdUnit works in a very simple way. You go to your business, and on the business, you create a business. You may ask, Tufan, why do I create a business? The reason is super simple. You know that every time you need to create a campaign, for example, for Google, you need to go select an ad account. And after that account, you need to go and create your campaign. For Facebook, you need to select your page, your Instagram, and again, your ad account. So with AdUnit, we need to simplify that. So for example, AdCreative.ai is a business. Next time when I click on create an ad, and if I select a page or, Facebook or Google or whatever I connected, right now we have Bing and TikTok coming, and more channels are going to be available here. So basically, when I select Facebook, it's going to already select my Facebook page, my Instagram account, and ad account. If I select Google, it's going to automatically select the related Google ad account. So in this one, we're creating Google Performance Max campaigns. So let's go directly select Google. So Maxi said something very important. Performance Max ideally is not for traffic or not awareness. Basically, Performance Max works for conversion. So the idea of Performance Max is to bring you sales leads, whatever the goal of your business is. So the first step is very simple. Select your objective. It's a very easy selection because we have only one, that's to get conversions. So let's just say here, webinar test. And on the right section, I can actually, if I have different conversions, for example, sign up, lead, purchase, I can select one of them and say that for this campaign, I don't care about any other conversions. What I really care about, purchase or sign up. So in this case, I'm not touching it because my default is actually sign up for AdCreative.ai, right? So I'm going to go to the next step. So as you now know that AdUnit's one of the biggest value proposition is that we simplify everything and we use our tech in a very nice format that is kind of like you cannot make mistakes here. So the second step is the audience. The audience is very simple. Which location you're going to go after? So I'm based in Paris right now. Let's go select Paris, France. I selected, so basically as a location, Paris is selected. As an age range, I'm not going to touch anything. So usually you should not be touching the age and gender unless you're selling something or promoting something that is specifically for one gender type or a very specific age range. Other than that, if that's not the case, what is recommended? So what is best practice is that you do not necessarily narrow the machine learning model that Google has, right? So they have the data. They know who is in the buying journey, in which stage, etc. So you don't want to go to them and say 45 to 65. Because what if there is a 44 years old someone that is actually almost ready to buy, right? So that's why usually in these days, especially in 2023, the broader you go, the more space you give the machine learning model to take the best decisions for you. So on this example, I'm not going to touch the age range and I'm not going to touch the gender. But again, if you're selling something, promoting something that is for specific age range, for specific gender, go for it. So since we're on AdCreative.ai as a business, who am I targeting? I'm targeting marketing, and we can just write marketing and it's going to bring me some interest directly. So for example, sales and marketing jobs, I love that. So if somebody is interested in, if I'm selling at AdCreative.ai, most probably marketing and sales jobs is a perfect one. And the second thing, in market segment, advertising and marketing services. So I basically added two. So I'm going to be targeting two audiences. This is not and, this is or. So basically I have now a very big audience that I'm targeting, salespeople, including as an in segment, advertising and marketing services. As a language, I'm not going to touch it. But again, if my application is just in French, I can go and select here just French. So I'm going with French. But in this case, again, in France, majority of people are speaking French. There is some English speaking people as well. So I think we are pretty safe to say that go for all audiences. And here, let's just say Paris, all ages and gender. So I put my audience name and I'm going to the next step. Again, as you can see, AdCreative.ai is quite visual. And the idea is that to show you how your ads more or less are going to look like. Clearly, Performance Max advertises your creatives in several different places, such as like YouTube, like on their search, on their display network, which means that we cannot give you all the previews, but at least here, you're going to get some kind of impression of how your ad is going to look like. So as Maxi mentioned, one of the biggest special things about Performance Max is that you give a lot of creatives, you give a lot of headlines, you give a lot of short headlines, long headlines, descriptions, buttons, etc. So you give a lot of stuff and it creates different versions of your ads. And the more versions there is a chance that one of those versions perform much better than the other ones, right? Do you remember very old days, if you were advertising in the past, what we were doing is that we were going to Google or Facebook or wherever we were advertising, we were creating tens, almost 100 different versions of ads one by one to understand which one is going to perform, and then turn off the ones that do not perform and select the ones, etc. That was a lot of manual work that we didn't even focus on the strategy a lot because we were really like doing a lot of work on the operations. But now the time is a bit changing. Now the idea is to spend a bit time on the strategy, like how should I talk to my clients, with what kind of creative should I go to my clients, then the operation work, because Performance Max already is doing that for you. If one creative does not perform at all, they're not going to be serving that. So you're not going to be necessarily spending any money on that creative by time. So the very first thing is tell people what your ad is about. This is very simple. I'm just going to open here and say that, for example, AdCreative.ai allows you to generate creatives using AI. And on the second one, the idea is to give different things, right? So generate creatives using AI, AdCreative.ai. So the idea is just to give different things. Ideally, the more different you go, the more options you have. So not each creative is very similar to each other. So kind of give Google like a place to play. And then they, like, sooner or later, they find one creative and with one headline and then in what description, that setup performs the best. And then you're going to see that they're going to serve that a lot, depending on the buyer journey. So again, it's not about just A/B testing. They know where the audience is. Like if this guy is in the consideration stage, they're going to show one type of that, for example. But if someone is on the last clicks, like they're almost going to buy, they're going to show maybe the discount headline that you have, right? So another thing, I can just go here, 25% off today only, generate creatives now. Again, these are just examples. I'm just trying to show here what is possible. So on the short headline, generate creatives now. On the short headline, you can go actually a bit more creative, a bit more on the product as well. So on this one, I'm just, to be extremely transparent, trying to save time so we don't make it long and we have enough time for your questions. So on the second one, AI generated ads. And on the third one, let's say creatives. And then let's say that 10 free credits today only, right? So I gave three descriptions and three headlines, three primary text, three headlines. And on this one, I'm just going to write a description. So the descriptions are a bit longer. You can go up to 90. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get that using AdCreative.ai. And then on this one, generating creatives using AI has never been easier. Again, I'm not the best copywriter ever, so we're going to even show you the text generator AI tool later on. And on the last one, let's just say that get your 10 credits and generate your first creatives using AI. So basically, the texts are written, and if you use our text generator AI, it's going to be even faster for you. And text generator AI is also free. You're not paying anything for it. We are using GPT-3, but we have trained GPT-3 with high conversion rate headlines. So I definitely recommend you to play with that a bit. So the next one is the button. The button, you can go and select. For example, if it is get code, learn more, I definitely recommend you to go specific. But I definitely, at this point, like I mentioned on the audience stage, I'm going to mention it again here. The more space you give it to Google, the better results they can bring it to you. So I definitely recommend you to leave automated unless you go super specific. And then you're going to go ahead and give a link. So I'm just going to go take the link of AdCreative.ai, put it here. So that's the final destination. If anybody clicks on my ad, they're going to go here. And on the short description, I'm just going to say that, I don't know, Paris-based AI application. Okay. So business name is going to be AdCreative.ai, and you're going to see that here we almost done everything. So the text part, I think, is kind of the easy part relatively. What is really hard is the creative. So you just need to click here. When you click here, AdUnit is kind of guiding you to provide the best for Performance Max. So you're going to see that AdCreative.ai is asking you two things. Okay, give us two logos, one in square format, one in landscape format. By the way, you can also use Canva if you want to design them one by one. But you know that today we are here with AdCreative.ai as a tool. So we don't necessarily need to use Canva because we're going to use data. We are going to use AI to generate those creatives to get the best results. And then AdUnit is recommending you to upload 5 square images, so 1-to-1 format, 4 to 5, so a bit vertical, another 5, and then it gives you another 5 landscape formats. So now that we came to this stage, I think you understand more and more why AdCreative.ai kind of solution is quite crucial. Is because, just like Maxi said, the more creatives you give to Performance Max, the better it performs. But for any business to sit to create 15 different creatives and 15 different creatives that are optimized for conversion rate, not only you need to be a designer, you need to also have a time for it. And on top of that, you need to know the conversion best practices, which is very hard to learn because it's something that changes at all times. That's why some kind of AI solution makes perfect sense here, because an AI is something that learns every single second that is passing by. And on top of that, it can give you creatives that are high conversion rate in a matter of seconds. So you don't have to spend time, you're going to get better results. So let's directly go ahead. What I'm going to do is very simple. So I'm just going to go to AdCreative.ai, for example. I'm pretty sure you have your logo. I'm just going to copy from here. Not the best practice, but let's save some time. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. Again, it's not a high quality, but let's just, for the sake of this video, select that. So what I'm going to be doing is I just uploaded my logo and I kind of cropped my logos. Why Google ask you to give 1 square and 1 landscape? Well, the square is very obvious because in some of the placements it's used square, and the landscape is the same. So for example, if you're reading a blog and on the blog there is some kind of display format where you have your description and the title, you only have a space for a landscape logo. So basically Google is using this to make sure that they're not messing up with your brand, and in the meantime it also looks as native as possible in the placement. Because if it looks natural, people click on it more and engage with it more, right? So the logo is the easy part. If you have it in the hand, it's going to be quite easy. Now the hard part is, how am I going to come up with 5 of each one of these? So that's where AdCreative.ai comes in. So AdCreative.ai, as I mentioned, is a tool that allows you to generate conversion-focused ad creatives using artificial intelligence. So basically, you just tell a bit about your brand, and then it goes ahead and generates some creatives for you. So the theory is cool. Let's go see it in hand, right? So basically, AdCreative.ai works very similar to AdUnit. On AdUnit, you created businesses that had your ad accounts and page names, etc. And on AdCreative.ai, you're creating actually a brand. Well, brand is very simple. Brand basically asks you to give a brand name, a brand logo, and after that, from your logo, we are going to be selecting 3 different colors. If you're not very happy with that, there's already some recommendations of other colors. If you're not sure what is the color of your brand, that is so easy. Let's say you're doing AdUnit. You could come here. We have a Chrome extension that you can go install 100% free, and you can drag and drop. Like you can basically like click here and get that color, and it's going to also check the code and bring you all the colors in that page. So you can also use our Chrome extension to find your colors, and then you go ahead and write your brand description, and then you can go ahead and write your brand type. And after all these parts are done, if you want to go a bit advanced, you can connect your Facebook ad account and Google ad account. The reason that you can connect these two is that, for example, let's say that you went ahead and connected your Google Ads account. We're going to be basically learning from your data, give you better and more precise results. And on top of that, you can directly push your creatives from AdCreative.ai to AdUnit/Google. So you can actually use those creatives directly there instead of downloading and uploading it again. And clearly you can select your own font and upload your alternative logo. So that's when you go ahead and create a brand. So I already created a brand that is called AdCreative.ai. So directly let's go ahead and generate the first creative. We're doing Google Performance Max, and the first creative that it asks us is 1:1, so it's a square image. Let's go with square, post size 1:1. That looks good enough. So let's go ahead and write our project description. You're going to understand on the next step why we need a project description. So let's write it. AdCreative.ai allows businesses to generate conversion-focused ad creatives using artificial intelligence. I think I wrote it good. And the target audience, let's say that this is for advertisers for the moment, but it can be for any business, right? So on the next step, we have a small preview section that shows us how this creative is going to look like. It's going to not necessarily be like this. This is just to give you some kind of guideline that already looks good. But I'm not very comfortable writing my own text that you already seen it on Edu Need. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use text AI button. So basically the project description that I gave and the target audience that I give is going to be sent to our version of GPT-3 that is trained with high conversion rate headlines, and it's going to, well, just appear here. Ads that make you money at Creative AI, create ads with AI at Creative AI, maximize conversions. If I'm happy with them, I can go. If I'm not happy, there is different versions of them right here. So transform your ads at Creative AI. Let's go with that. And here, let's choose something different. Smarter ads with at Creative AI. Let's try like that. Maximize conversions looks good to me. And maybe on the conversion rate, let's say we have something for percentage. I kind of like that. Okay. Or you know what? I'm going to take the other one. I like that even more. Okay. So maximize conversions. Transform your ads at Creative AI. That already looks good. I didn't have to write any text at all. So I'm going to the next step right now. On the next step, there is one version that you can upload so many backgrounds and product images and go like in bulk rendering. If you want to play with that, again, at Creative AI, I have 7 days free trial and 10 free credits. So you can sign up, come here, watch this video that I have that I talk about this feature. Then I'm going to let you do it. So let's go with the simple one. I already almost designed everything. If I have a background image that I can already upload, I can go ahead and do it. But I'm just going to use this stock image right now because I don't have anything in hand. So let's say Google. Let's see if it's going to come up with anything. Okay, Google is cool. Let's use that, right? So that image looks good to me. Here we are using a free stock images. That just the creative looks good to me like that. It's a square cropping because it's a square image. And if I'm happy with that, no need to change anything. I'm just going to say webinar test, save and generate. So basically, I give pretty much every single data to AdCreative AI. AdCreative AI is sending to our machine learning model, generate all that creatives in a matter of seconds. And those creatives are ideally going to be appearing here. And basically, when creatives are generated, you will also see that every single creative that is generated using AI is not only going to be appearing in your projects, so you can always have these creatives right like that. And in the meantime, you can always come back to your projects and make any edits that you changed. You can duplicate it, play with it, etc. So right now, I have the creatives basically generated completely in front of me. As you can see that this is in the square format. The quality is really good, no pixels whatsoever. It's ready to use. So if it's ready to use, and if I like it, I can directly go ahead and use one credit to download this in a square format. But keep in mind that there is almost over 100 creative here. Some of them may not happen. Some of them may not look that good, but don't worry. Already our AI scores them and says that, look, out of 100, we give 72 to this creative. We are not very confident with this. But if you go to the top, so they are scored with that, you can see that this one, AdCreative AI believes that you're going to get the best click-through rate, or the second one. So in this case, I kind of like, for example, these two. I'm just going to go download this one. So when I download this one, it's going to give me a square version of this creative, as you can see. Pixel perfect, ready to use, looks nice, right? But what did we say? We cannot have just one creative. So we need one square, one vertical, and one landscape. So what do I need to do? Do I need to go and create new and new projects that Creative AI? Not necessarily. So we have this feature called render this image in other sizes. Basically, if you click on this, our platform is going to render the same image in different formats so that without turning this project or creating new projects, you can have everything in one place. So let's say that, what did I need? I need one vertical, one landscape, right? I'm going to come here. Landscape is right here. So basically what I can do is I can get one landscape image, and then I needed also one vertical, 1080 to 350. So I'm going to click on download 2. That's done. So in just a matter of seconds, I like my design, and I also render the same one in different formats. So the landscape is going to look in the landscape format, and the vertical form is going to look like in the vertical form. If that is clear, I am pretty much done with AdCreative AI. So you, like I mentioned it to you, and you're probably going to ask, yeah, but Tufan, you said you need to upload 15. Yes, it's definitely recommended. So to keep the webinar short, I'm going to keep it short. But basically, if I was really going to publish this campaign, I would most probably come here, do the same process for this one. I really like this creative. It looks good. I would do that one as well. And this one also looks like very nice, especially this one too. So whatever designs I like, I would definitely get a different versions of those creatives for Performance Max ready to generate, right? So let's say right now the tree is good. What I'm going to do is very simple. Since I downloaded those creatives already, this one, sorry, that's not the one. Yeah, this one. I'm just going to upload. As you can see, AdUnit is directly telling me Tufan, you need to crop this to the square for Google best practices. But since the image is already square, it fits. I don't need to do anything. And then it's going to upload it to the format, to the platform. And then vertical, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere here should be vertical. Yeah, this one. It's a vertical format. I'm good with it. Done. Cropping it. It's okay. You can crop because it's the perfect format, exactly as Google best practices. And if I'm not mistaken, this one is landscape. We are good to go. Again, crop, but it's okay because it's the best size right away. So now that we gave everything, I can go ahead and save. And when I save everything, you can see that the button is available now. And my creative looks pretty good. My brand is here. I kind of uploaded a very bad version of my logo to save time, but basically everything looks good. And on the next step is the last step. So on the next step, I can directly see some previews of how my ads are going to look on search, on, for example, display ads. The preview is not really perfect, but if Google was really showing this on the display format, they would put the right creative. We need to work on that. That reminds me. And on YouTube, if you added a YouTube video. So on this example, I just went with the static images, but keep in mind that even if you update just static images, Google uses your creatives to create kind of a slideshow kind of videos so that you can actually also advertise on YouTube. And if the slides are performing good, they're going to go ahead and advertise those. So the next is very easy. We do something, since we know the market best practices, we can recommend you some kind of budget. So you have 3 headlines, 3 primary text, 3 long headlines, and 4 images in total. That is 108 variations, right? And 108 variations, basically, based on our calculation, our best practices should be around $65 per day. You don't have to go that way, but as I mentioned and as Maxi mentioned, Google Performance Max is kind of working as an AI, and since there's a machine learning model, there's AI, data is very important. So if you give very small budget, there's going to be very less data until you find the best performing setups. May take time. That's why. So this is not necessarily a recommendation from Google. This is just AdUnit best practices. So if we are happy with this, I can directly click here, publish now. That's going to use a native connection with Google API. Go ahead, publish the campaigns, and give you back a notification saying that Tufan, your Performance Max campaigns are published, you're good to go. So that is in a nutshell how to use AdUnit and AdCreative.ai. And ideally, I talked a lot, but if you were just yourself generating those, it's just going to take 1 or 2 minutes for AdUnit and another 1 or 2 minutes for AdCreative.ai. So 4 to 5 minutes, you're done. But if you were to go ahead and use some solution like Canva or whatever to generate and not to create all those creatives one by one as a business owner, 15 creatives, each creative 10 minutes, that's easily 150 minutes, considering that you have a limitless imagination. But AdCreative.ai takes that away from you, so you can really focus on the business instead of spending a couple hours just on the creatives. So I'm going to go back to the material we have, hoping that it's going to start. So we talked about AdUnit and AdCreative.ai, and some of you may ask, hey, I'm going to connect my ad account to AdUnit or AdCreative.ai. Is that safe? Just for you to know, AdUnit and AdCreative.ai is a Google Premier partner. That's a top tier partnerships from Google. And as you know, Maxi here from the channel partner. So we are also a channel partner of Google, which means that we work pretty much closely every single week on the product, what kind of solutions we can bring so our users get the best results. So our connections are 100% safe. And on top of 100% safe, we are using their native API. So that is just to mention there. And now, in a very fast way, let's show you how to claim those $500 Google Ads credits. And right after that, we're going to directly answer pretty much as we can for the rest of the time. So what I'm going to do is start sharing my screen one more time, jump to AdUnit, and directly show you something. So just for information, this is a test account. So this is not a real account. So when I click on Google, there's a huge chance that you may see an error because this Google account does not actually exist, but it's going to do the job. That doesn't matter. So basically here, when you're creating your first business, actually it went well. When you're creating your first business, you're going to see that something like this is appearing, right? Basically, this is allowing you to create an ad account using AdUnit's API. So basically here, what we're doing is we are going to Google and saying that, hey, we have a user that would like to create an ad account. Is that okay? Google says yes, of course. So Google creates an ad account with us and then gives you an admin access. When you have this admin access, basically you can go ahead directly on Google's platform. So we do not touch the payment methods. You directly go to Google, add your credit card, and then Google brings you back to AdUnit for you to be able to finish and start advertising. So basically the process is very simple. tufan@adunit.com, which is my email address, is inviting you to be an administrator to that account, right? So if you accept that, Google is going to bring you to the payment methods. When you finish your payment method, you're going to come here. So you just need to click on my account is ready. So that's it. When you do that, the deal is very simple. Spend $500 and get $500. So the moment that you start spending and you spend your first $500, on the following month, Google is going to be directly automatically applying $500 free ad credits. So no coupons. You don't have to worry about anything. If you have created an ad account using that button, you're going to be getting exactly $500 from Google, basically, for you to advertise, understand what is a Performance Max, what kind of results it can bring it to you. So that's it. I think if I go back to the slide, most probably, clearly I want to mention here, if you're not a user of AdUnit or AdCreative.ai, AdUnit is completely free right now, and AdCreative.ai is a 7 days free trial. You can go and sign up. We will even give you discounts. You'll see that at the end of the webinar. But I'm going to bring you some value since we also have Maxi here. So time to answer some of your questions. Let me directly get into the chat because there were some super cool ones. Some of them.
I think there was a lot of, if I may jump in, there was a lot about like, can you actually see what kind of creatives performed the best or which assets did perform the best?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Short and sweet. Yeah.
The answer is yes. The answer is super easy. Yes. So Google Performance Max, when it first started, it was a kind of like, for us as an end user, I hope Maxi doesn't mind me saying this, was kind of a black box because it was like, hey guys, this is something that is designed for you to bring you best results. And it was bringing very good results, but it was a bit hard. But Google loves advertisers, loves businesses, and really listens them. And they understood that we really needed more data. Yeah, but which creative performed the best? Which title performs the best? Now they actually grade those and tell you if they're a good performer or a bad performer and tell you in the UI very easy way. So the answer is yes. You can see that data of which ones are performing and which ones are not. Max, I have one question that would be, I think, very easy for you to answer. Does Performance Max work in German language?
So PMax, yeah, sure. Does work in pretty much all available languages and countries or locations. I guess also for AdCreative.ai should be able to, let's say, translate at least in the most common languages, right?
Yes. Right now we do top 10 spoken languages, but we're adding more and more. So as Maxi said, German is good to go on Performance Max, and German language is also good to go on AdCreative.ai as well. When will be the final version of AdUnit? So that's not Performance Max related at all, but just to answer you. So right now we're really polishing the latest details. I think in February, the beta is over. That being said, you still have quite a bit of time to go and test it free. No charges at all. We want you to test it. Go to the support. If you have any issues, if you have any feedbacks, you can leave them there. There's a lot of questions. I'm just trying to select different ones.
Maybe like one which was asked a couple of times while you presented as well. What are like other targeting options you can basically use? Are you able to upload your own audiences or your own, let's say, email lists in order to target people through AdUnit, or do you need to stick to the, let's say, lists you've shown?
So that's a very good one. Right now with AdUnit, the options that we have is that you can use basically any kind of in-market or interest test that we've done together. And on top of that, you can use your own data. That's in the same segmentation we have, but the second tab. So which means that if you have some visitors, if you have users of whatever, you can use that. And on top of that, you can also create custom segmentation. What kind of custom segmentation? You can, for example, say that as AdCreative.ai, I want to target everyone who have searched Google Performance Max on Google in the last whatever days. So this way I can also create custom segmentation. So these three, which are usually the most used ones, are available on AdUnit, but clearly every single week we are bringing more and more integrations. So you'll have a chance to test that as well. Is there a possibility? Yeah, that's one of the questions. Can we see which creatives generated by AdCreative.ai perform the best on Google? Yes, that is actually a metric that is available. You can see it on your dashboard. Yes, we're going to send this video to everyone just for you to know. Click fraud. I can see that some people ask about click fraud feature on the menu of Ad Unit. Click fraud is coming next week. It's just a small feature that we're bringing. We call it a small feature. There's quite a bit of tech there, but the front end is going to be very simple. It's basically for you to avoid those bot clicks, but that has nothing to do with Performance Max. I'm going to skip, but we're going to have more and more communications about that. Still, thanks a lot for all the interest. Okay, that is super cool. Maxi, do you think that you can answer us? Because I can see that there has been asked 4 times about YouTube. When it comes to YouTube, do we need to upload a video or do we need to select a video from YouTube, an existing channel?
In order to run videos on Performance Max campaign, you mean? So basically,
exactly.
what you can do, and you mentioned it earlier, if you just upload your, let's say, image creatives, for example, right? PMax will basically build a video, like slideshow, as you mentioned, based out of these creatives. But you can also add like YouTube videos, just the way you would do it with a usual YouTube campaign. So basically have your YouTube channel, and you can then basically upload your video there and link it to the PMax campaign.
Okay, exactly. So basically, I just wanted to show in just a screen sharing format, just in a matter of seconds. So basically what I've done, I went to YouTube, found one of my videos of our YouTube channel from AdCreative.ai, and I came back to here in the YouTube extension. I just left the link, and as soon as I leave the link, Ad Unit goes ahead and finds that video. If you're good, you can just go ahead and write the video name or however you want to see the difference between this extension and the other ones. And when you do this, you can actually, instead of a slideshow is still something that Google is going to be testing for you, but you can actually use this video, this link directly in your Performance Max campaigns. So you don't necessarily need to upload a video. You just go ahead and select an existing video on YouTube for your ads. There is, I think, over 100 messages have. Okay, there's one question. That's a bit niche question, Maxi. So in search campaign, we have ad groups. Likewise, in PMax, we have asset groups. Why we can't have impressions, clicks, conversions, etc. on asset groups in PMax, like ad groups in search campaign?
So yeah, that's a good one. So we kind of think more about like PMax as one campaign, Performance Max as one campaign, and we kind of think of it like more as a result-driven campaign. So we go away from looking at like a very specific click within one specific asset group, because as we mentioned, there are so many touch points, and many touch points are not as valuable as other touch points are, and it's probably never the same, right? Every conversion, every purchase is probably kind of behaving a bit different. So we kind of try to go away from looking at individual let's say ad groups or individual clicks, not conversions, but impressions, and look more at like the whole big picture. But we kind of heard the feedback in the past, like that we kind of, customers want to see, advertisers want to see more insights. So we're constantly trying to work on that and bring more insights also on like a creative level, also on like a ad group or asset group level. For now, it's not possible to see like the in-depth, let's say, in-depth stats for individual creatives or individual asset groups. We're kind of working on it. And as I mentioned, at the same time, we try to look a bit more at the bigger picture, but we can understand that this is like a feature a lot of advertisers are asking for, and we're looking into that to develop more insights in the future in the form of reports or dashboards. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. I've seen 2-3 more questions about the coupon we have. They have asked, hey, is it only possible on AdUnit? The answer is no. It's also possible on AdCreative.ai because, as I mentioned, AdUnit and AdCreative.ai is under the same company, and we are partnering with Google. So if you're using AdCreative.ai, not AdUnit, that is okay. That you can also, when you're creating a brand or when you're editing an existing brand, which is the same model, you can actually go here, try to connect your Google Ads, and when you're connecting, you see the same button here that says $500 free ad credits. So there you can directly go ahead and do the same process to create a new ad account. And when you create a new ad account, you get $500 Google Ads credits applied to you as soon as you finish your $500 on the following month. and it's all automatic. You don't need to do anything at all. Google knows that you came from AdUnit or AdCreative.ai, and they will directly apply that discount to you. Quite a bit of people mentioning that was a lot of value, so I'm super happy because the idea of here is completely to give you as much value as possible, so you understand PMax, how important is PMax, and how you can create it in just a matter of minutes using AdUnit and AdCreative.ai.
Can I jump in with one last question? Because this was asked quite frequently, and I just saw like another post here. Is Performance Max also interesting for B2B companies? And we had like the same question for brick and mortar businesses earlier, and non-e-commerce businesses. So in general, it is, yes. You basically select a goal, and you have like a variety of goals to select. You can select online sales, obviously, but you can also select store visits, drive leads. You can select phone calls for your business. So there's a variety of potential use cases here for different kinds of businesses. And also what's, I think, important to mention, especially these business, like, let's say, online traditional businesses, like non-online sales businesses, for example, are kind of, a prime use case for Performance Max, because usually like you have way more touch points for like, let's say, a large scale lead gen business, and then you would probably have for like a shoe retailer, just for example. And this is kind of a prime example, because you might use way more creatives. You might want to use way more creatives along the user journey with way different messaging that you would probably use for, let's say, just a online retailer. So I think it's actually valuable to have for different kinds of businesses, and also in combination with different creative assets.
Yeah, I mean, right now, what we've seen with AdCreative.ai and AdUnit, although like we do not have access to anybody's accounts, we have this complete privacy things. There's quite a bit of people writing to our support, and we've seen anywhere from real estates to, like you mentioned, e-commerce, to people that are not even selling anything. They just use Performance Max for a different type of conversion. So from what we've seen is that as long as you give Google a very clear conversion, like, hey, look, this is my conversion, Google somehow finds out the rest, and you're getting, because the idea of Performance Max is to bring you conversions, and conversion is depending on what you say it's a conversion. So as long as you give Google, hey, look, this is my conversion, and this is the location that I want to target, we've seen pretty much every type of business getting some results. Clearly, you need to fit the requirements of Google to be able to advertise. But other than that, B2B, B2C, we've seen many businesses on our end, on the user end, because I want to give you a bit the AdCreative.ai and AdUnit perspective other than Google. But yeah, we've seen B2B, B2C, many businesses getting amazing results with PMax. That's why you've seen that PMax was one of the first integration that we brought on Google. Now display is coming, search is coming. And definitely these are super important for you as well if you're planning to go a bit deep in the Google advertising ecosystem. That being said, Performance Max is an amazing place to start, and potentially maybe that's all you need as well. It really depends on your business goals and what kind of results you get. So we went a bit over 1 hour. I know that Max have some meetings after 2. Thanks a lot, everyone. I really appreciate that. There is some questions here. So basically what we are planning to do is we're planning to take this video, edit it slightly, put it on YouTube so it's available to you all. And in the meantime, we're going to be sending you all an email with some of the frequently asked questions, the answers that we may not be able to answer on this call because there is over 200 messages right now. We're going to answer them all in, or at least most of them in the email. So you have those answers that we couldn't mention here on the video. And on top of that, again, go and sign up to these 2 platforms, create your first Performance Max campaign, see what kind of results you're getting. Quite a bit of you have never advertised on Google and did not do Performance Max. And on top of that, if you go to AdCreative.ai and sign up, that gives you 10 free credits, and 10 creatives is a perfect place to start at Performance Max. You can directly take those 10 creatives, upload it to Performance Max, and create your first campaign pretty much free from AdUnit and AdCreative.ai size. You just need to pay for Google's ad spend. And even for that, if you use that account option that we just showed you, you get $500 free in the following month. So it's like an amazing time to get started. You're almost risk-free to test to see what is performing. And again, thanks for all the thank you messages and positive vibes. We really appreciate it. It's super, super amazing to have you all here. And I guess we'll see you all in the next webinar. Thanks a lot. Thanks Maxi. Really appreciate it. Bye, everyone.